Courage is not typically something that we get once and just maintain throughout our life. If you ever heard the term, that person's courageous. Well, they're courageous because they make a decision to be on a daily basis based off the circumstances they're presented with throughout the day. It's not something we're born with for sure, but it's a daily decision that we have to make. And you can see that throughout the Word of God with these heroes of faith. The coolest thing about the Bible is it doesn't hide the faults. That's one of the reasons why it is considered to be legitimate, right? It's because it doesn't try to hide the faults of these individuals. You know, Moses, David, um, Paul, all these men, these heroes of faith, had flaws that were documented in the Word of God. Some of them showed great courage early on and then succumbed to fear later on in the Word of God in their life. It wasn't like they had courage and then it just maintained it. It requires a daily decision-making process. It requires identifying the circumstances that are causing you to either be afraid and be disobedient or have courage and be obedient to God's calling in your life. So it's got to be a daily thing, and you got to be able to identify those situations. Sometimes the devil's real sneaky about it, and he'll get you to the point where you just don't make a decision at all. That's actually succumbing to fear. It's being too afraid to look at your circumstances, identify what's going on, and then overcome those circumstances with courage. We make about 35,000 decisions on average every day. And a lot of those decisions are just subconscious movements, walking, breathing, things like that. But there's a lot of them they're conscious decisions. And if we're not in a place where we're listening to God and identifying when the enemy's trying to deceive us and obscure our ability to make those decisions, then we're actually giving in. We're being afraid. We're too afraid to look at the circumstances for what they are and actually find that courage, that daily courage we need to overcome fear and move forward in obedience. So I want you to think about that today as you're going through your day. Try to identify those circumstances, the situations that are being allowed by God, but you're confronted with by the enemy every day. And then make a conscious decision to overcome that, to be obedient, to have faith in God, and show courage in your walk.